If you are a maker or some sort of DIY guy, you will collect piles of material over time. This raises several issues. First, it can be quite challenging to find such parts again. And more important, if you cannot find the part, you will probably just order more of it. This is a waste of money. A called Unexpected Maker came up with Sam. You can find the link to the video in the video description. Seon was trying to sort his spools of electronical parts, so he could find that certain spool with 100 ohm 0805 resistors if in need. I found this idea quite smart and started fiddling with the technology. I took a Raspberry Pi 3 from the shelf, and added a 4 microphone array hat from a manufacturer called Seed, called Respeaker 4 Mic Array. This little board comes with additional GPIOs, and they come into play as well. I made a list of things to achieve. First, add components to the stock by voice. Second, add storage units by voice. Third, query the number of parts in stock. Fourth, create notes by voice. Fifth, make the whole thing database driven. And last but not least, having a web interface to work with the database when voice input is not suitable. So I added a Docker stack to my local Docker server, consisting of an Apache, PHP, Postgres and PHP-PG admin. And I wrote a web interface to allow me simulating all the inputs and outputs I would utilize by voice commands later in. I wrote a small REST API to serve both the web app and the Raspberry Pi later on. Well, that didn't take too long. Now, let's start fiddling with the Pi and the mic hat. I checked the example from Seed Studio. They provide quite good manuals for their products. I walked through an install procedure and had to make some decisions. The most important one, do I want to use a wake word, or do I dislike if a mic is listening all the time? I dislike it. I need a trigger to make the Pi listening to my commands. The Pi hat provides some GPIOs, and I decided to go with a single push button to start the havoc. Another decision to make, how to provide feedback to me as an user. The Pi hat provides 4 RGB LEDs which I can control from my Python scripts. On top, I could provide speech output. I created a few scripts and was going for a TCP socket listening approach. Each of the modules has a certain task to fulfill.
Mögliche Befehle, Liste Lagername, Suche Artikelname, Detail.
Basic Talk checks the GPIO connect push button and triggers the mic hat to listen. It decodes the command and interacts with the API based on the found command. Listen is reading the mic input, turns it into an audio file. Transcribe reads the audio file and turns it into text using Google Speech to Text. Talk Google sends text to Google Text to Speech and creates audio output from the result. Finally, Scanner is an attempt to read QR codes, like storage box numbers. And that is really all there is to it for the moment. It works, and it has its glitches as well. So Google is translating a 1 into the string 1. I am overcoming this by saying 01, which Google turns into the number 1. If you say 10, it works as expected. As well, Google is bad in recognizing electronical parts. Farad becomes the German word for bicycle, called Fahrrad. Hertz becomes the German Hertz. I added a fuzzing translation database to work around this. Besides that, the proof of concept works quite well for around 3 years now.
Finde Flachbandkabel.
Flachbandkabel, Anzahl 1 gefunden in Shiba 100 in Magazinlinks.
Bestelle Flachbandkabel.
Many things would have to be done to turn this into a proper solution. But I lack the most important thing as many other makers, and this is time. Of course it would be great to have different command languages, as example. Or a bulletproof number input. Why did I use Google services? I found no other services working reliable enough at the time I was collecting resources for this project. With the few interactions between me and my ERP, it is well within the given limits to be free of charge. You can find the sources at github.com/pstimple/project-erp. Have fun. A special thanks goes to Andreas Spiess, the guy with the Swiss accent. He is a great maker and YouTuber, and kind of forced me to create this video after a short conversation below one of his great videos. You can find the link to the video in the description as well. With that being said, thanks a lot for watching.